Well, let's talk about betting and how is it that so many companies are having an appetite to come into the Kenyan market. Well, I'm now joined by the Managing Director for Bet Lion, the Kenya branch, and that is none other than Spencer Okach. Many thanks for joining us, Spencer.
Thanks, Abby.
Well, looking at the Kenyan market, we've seen over 20 companies setting up shop. Why Kenya? Is it that there's a lot of unemployment or people are just obsessed with soccer?
I think the last point is true. Like Kenya, I think second to Nigeria and Uganda is the most, have the biggest football and sports fans in Africa. Number two, in terms of internet penetration in Kenya, it's extremely high. Given I've been to many African countries, and I can tell you, like, I have not seen one that has as good internet penetration as Kenya.
And Spencer, talk to us about, as much as you're coming into the market, what is your main area of focus, especially now that you've seen Kenya is a vibrant market when it comes to betting, when it comes to people loving sports, and don't you feel the market is already saturated?
I don't think so. The United Kingdom has over 2,000 betting companies, and they're still operating. We have about 35 registered. I think there's still a very good gap for betting companies with a slightly different niche, slightly different mode of operations and how the customers are treated, on how the product construct that is offered. If you have gone to the races, I've still not seen so many Kenyans, so many Africans watching horse racing. So I still believe that there's a strong gap in that.
And Spencer, how much are you looking to sink in the Kenyan economy, especially now that you have the big boys also controlling a big chunk of the market?
I have a lot of respect for them. To show you how much to sink in is it's a significant amount without going into figures.
Could you give us an approximate?
No, it's enough. But I don't want us to look at how much you're sinking in terms of spend and stuff, but how much are we giving in terms of development of sports, and that's our main tenet of even the other African jurisdictions that we currently operate. We are bigger in developing the sport, because that's without the sport, then there's no betting.
Sure.
Yeah.
And speaking about without the sport, there's no betting. Are there specific teams you are keen on as a company, and what should we expect in the coming months or days, even as Bet Lion declares, actually roars in the Kenyan market?
Yes, there are some interest that there are sports assets that we are currently salivating on if we could get there, but that's not the only way that we can go into sport. There are still things like training of coaches. Still there are things like developing sports stadiums. There's I don't know about your village, but from my village, I still see guys playing soccer without boots, and we expect them when they get to the national team or to go to...
So you're simply saying you're keen on the grassroots
on developing the sport.
All right.
Whether it's top line or bottom line, the key thing is we are keen on developing sport.
All right.
Yeah.
And finally, we've had a difficult time in the Kenya Premier League in terms of sponsorship of teams, and what opportunities does this present to organizations of your nature? And of course, as we get your closing thoughts.
I'll give something general, is that if you look at world over, sponsorship is not how a club keeps afloat. And the onus is also on the club leaderships and the owners of the federation, the leadership of the federation, to ensure that we have other revenue channels. That said, yes, we are keen on some of the sports assets that the Premier League provides. We are keen on some of the sports assets that the nation does provide.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Many thanks there, Spencer.
Thank you so much, Abby, for having me.
And I will be keeping an eye just to see how the company performs in the Kenyan market.
I look forward to coming back and talking about that.
All right. interesting conversation on the business of